Hello, my YouTube friends. Thanks for joining in tonight. If you haven't hit that subscribe button or slam that bell, please do now because we got a lot of really cool things going on. That's right, man. Tonight I wanted to talk about the art of recording a never-ending love. That's right, man. So one of my first experiences with recording music was actually on one of these. This was one of the first things I ever recorded on way back in the day. I want to say, to let you guys in on how old I am, probably in the 80s. But this is what I had to record on right here. And this little tape. This is what this is what my first recordings are on. And I would get a song or write a song and pretty much just record it, push play record on this little baby and record it on this. And that was my demo. Then it went to something a little more sophisticated. It went to a Tascam 4-track recorder. And it was recorded on something like this. And believe it or not, I still have these tapes from back in the day. These were some demo songs that I had actually recorded from way back when, man. And we had to record on Maxell. It had to be this tape. These were the best tapes actually to record on. And man, I had a lot of fun doing that. That was something really enjoyable to do. That 4-track, man. And about the only tricks I knew back then was to double the voice in the chorus section to thicken up the voice. There was no all the tricks that we have available today in the computer. But I've got many of these tapes. I still have these tapes laying around. Believe it or not, kind of neat going back. And then it was actually on a reel-to-reel. We had a 4-track Tascam reel-to-reel with a 32-channel Yamaha mixing board. And I remember going over a friend of mine's house, and it was way back when I was bartending. And I'd get off at 2 o'clock, and if we were lucky, we could get out of there at 3 if we cleaned everything up quick enough. And I'd go over his house, man, and we'd go in there, and he had a big Grocery and Steinway piano in there, and that 4-track recorder, reel-to-reel, and we would just start playing music and recording. And those were the days I really, really fell in love with music, because I was actually able to do overdubs with a reel-to-reel and didn't have to play engineer so much. And we would put down some click track and then a piano part, and then I would come in and put down a guitar part, and then we would both do harmonies and whatnot together, and we did some really, really cool stuff. That, by the way, I still have on tape. And so those were my early days of recording music, and where it all began for me, falling in love with recording and mixing and all that other good stuff. I think once you start recording music, whether it's your own music or someone else's music, there's something about all that equipment and all that musical gear that just draws you into loving every piece that you ever fall upon or come upon. And I remember some of the first pieces of musical gear that I sang through that I was just amazed and floored at the same time of the sound that we were getting out of it. It seemed like we had some old Elisa's compressors, and they were these little bitty half rack compressors in EQs at the time. And they were really, really cool. They had the black face with blue lettering on there, Elisa's. And I remember singing through a DBX 160, and I'm not sure if it was the 160A. I think the 160 A came out later on, but I want to say Tom actually had a DBX 160 compressor, and we were going through a Lexicon piece reverb. I'm not sure what model number it was. I just remember black base with blue lettering on it as well. And between the DBX 160 compressor and that Lexicon, we had in this beautiful room. And I just remember singing through that the first time, actually through a Shure SM58 dynamic microphone. It wasn't a condenser microphone. But I remember singing through that 58, through that DBX and that Lexicon piece, and just absolutely falling in love that morning, because it was probably about 3 or 4 in the morning. And those were our rehearsal times, man. That was our time. So I'd get off work at 2, clean up till 3, and then we would rehearse until 6 in the morning. And then I would sleep until 1 that afternoon, and then back up and at it again for the next day. But those were the days and the good memories I had of recording and mixing music and spending many hours, early morning hours, doing so. And it was such a blast for me. And so here I am 30 years later, and still love the recording studio and still love everything to do with writing music and being a part of music and being a part of the recording studio. And something about recording studios, when you have a lot of equipment in them, they tend to have a certain smell to it, whether it's the microphones or all the cables that's involved, or just the tubes burning in the air, or whatever else is cooking up. All your studios just tend to have a smell about it that you just, whenever you smell that smell, you want to come back home, and it brings you back home and you feel real relaxed and you love being in the studio. I know that I could be in the studio. I could be in the studio 24/7 in the right environment with the right musicians and the right team. And so this is a love of mine, a love that will continue on probably forever, and probably you too, if you really enjoy music and you really enjoy recording music. If you have any ideas of, or things that come to mind that you enjoyed about recording music, please let me know, man. I would love to hear about your experience and when and how you came into recording music, and what hooked you into the love game of recording music. For me, it was, other than recording and writing my own music and doing my own thing, I would have to say second best that came to mind was microphones. As all you guys know, I am a big microphone lover, and have been for many, many years. And so that's another thing that kept my interest, was not only recording music, but trying out different microphones in different situations, on different amplifiers and different speaker cabs. Also trying different microphones and different placement on the cones. For brighter tones, I would go more closer to center to the cone. And then as you move the microphone out and even away a bit from the cone toward the middle and then toward the outer edge, it kind of gets a little darker. So these were things that were trial and error for me in the process of recording, figuring out and listening back after doing a take or two. And you learn a lot from just trial and error, and it's never the same. So then it became, after learning about different mic placement and experimentation, it became about trying different microphones, more than one microphone on an instrument. Perhaps we'd put one close up in the cab, and then a ribbon microphone further away, or capturing the room, or even placing that microphone in the corner, up in a room in a corner. Just all kind of things that you can do about with mic placement and polar patterns. that you're not limited to just one microphone. And so recording has been in my blood for many, many years. And if you enjoy music and recording, I'm sure it's stuck in yours as well. And I'd love to hear about some of your experiences with recording music and what actually drew you guys to loving music. I know that for me, it's an art that's never fully learned or completely understood, even though we have a lot of tried and true experimentations that work many, many times over and over and over again. But then again, you have those magical moments that's unexplained, and you wonder how that got in the mix, or you wonder how those certain sounds creeped in, or where did that come from, or that just sounds amazing, and trying to recapture that never happens again. One of the neatest things that I learned about recording music was actually tracking another musician doing vocal takes. And one thing that I've learned is, as a musician and as an engineer, is when you're recording a vocal take, don't never just stop in the middle of something, because just because you think it doesn't sound good doesn't mean that you actually didn't do something magical. And then trying to recapture that never happens again. So there were times that I would go, hey, let's do it again. And after listening back, there were parts in there that at first I didn't think I liked, but then actually listening back to the engineer going, wow, I did that. That really sounds good. Let's keep that in the mix. So there's little things that you learn recording, and sometimes they're magical, magical, magical moments that can never be repeated again. And so never stop the recording, continue on, and just do another take. And and that'll solve that problem. And who knows, you'll probably stumble upon something really, really good that you really like. And I know that's happened for me, and I'm sure it's happened for many of you guys out there as well. But we got a lot of great things going on. It's raining here in Texas today. It's been raining all day, and the weather's been kind of nasty outside, and the shoppers are out there trying to get all their shopping done. And it's kind of nice being at home and being here with you guys tonight and talking about my love with music and my love in the recording studio. And I want to hear some of you guys. I want to hear some of y'all's stories as well, man. So, even if I came on at a bad time, it's 5:30 here, a little past. I know everyone's trying to eat and get their showers in and whatnot, and ease on back for the evening. But this was the only time that I could come on today, because my night's going to be busy as well. And I just wanted to get some things in that was pressing upon my heart to put it out there as to why I love music and recording in the studio, and the little things that the smells and the times of the year that makes me want to come back to the studio and start recording. Actually put down some tracks and get in here and start playing with EQs and compressors and microphones and the toys, they call them the big boy toys. And if you're into recording and you're into music, you completely understand what I mean by that. And some of these toys that we enjoy in the studio are high dollar toys, and it's not a cheap hobby by no means. As you can see, I have the R44 sitting right here, which is nearly $3,000. When you mention to someone, oh wow, you spent $3,000 on a microphone. Yeah, I spent 3,000 on a microphone, but there are more expensive ones than that out there. So anyway, some people love fast cars and Corvettes and hot rods, and for me, I love audio equipment, recording equipment. And so that's my thing, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, it's your thing too, being that you love the recording studio. But those were some moments that I enjoyed in the recording studio. And it's kind of neat to know that I saved all these old tapes, these 4-track tapes of my music, just starting out on the guitar and writing songs, that I've got all these old takes still laying around. And I'm sure if I had a cassette player, I'm sure they all play just fine. But I need to fire up the one that I have downstairs and see if I can get that baby playing some of these old tapes. But a lot of times we would just put one microphone in a room, and the band would get around, and we would capture the room sound just to be able to capture the music, so we didn't forget what we were doing, and we could fall back on it and see what sounded good and what we could actually do to make the song better. So it was just pretty much a reference recordings that we did. And it wasn't about getting the best takes. It was just about capturing the moment to remember to make any adjustments to how we can make the song better. Whether we put in a bridge in the song, or whether we double up on the the verse before we went into the first pre-chorus chorus, or whether we did 2 verses and then a pre-chorus, chorus, come out, do a verse or a half verse, jump into the pre-chorus, chorus, and then come out of that and do a lead solo, or go into a bridge, out of the bridge and lead solo, or lead solo, then bridge, and then chorus out, or pre-chorus, chorus out. So it was a formula that's out there, that if you follow the formula on song construction, you can write a song at 3:30 every time, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, without going over, just simply by following a formula of a verse, 2 verses, chorus, 2 verses, chorus, bridge, chorus out, or whatever. And so it was neat kind of playing with that and seeing what we wanted to do, how we wanted to structure the song. Back in the day, then, it was all these long solos, whether it was 8 measures or 16 measures, or 4 measures or whatever. But you had a lot of guitar. Music was all about having a lead guitar solo back in the 80s and 90s. And I'd say probably when Nirvana came around in the 90s, then the lead solos kind of got more condensed to just more of a melody line put in there or whatever. It wasn't anything too difficult, or any runs or anything like that. But probably about that time when Nirvana came in the picture, like I say, the lead guitar and lead solos kind of went to the wayside. And it's interesting to see where we went just in the past 20, 30 years with music, and how it's changed. It used to be about melody, and now it's more about beat. And so if you can do a scratch beat, or you can get a beat down, that's really, really cool, or wrap some stuff to that, you really got a good song, man. So it's changed. The instruments have changed, and the style of music has changed. It seemed like I was at the gym yesterday. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it. I don't remember the name of the song, but I was listening to the song, and our music has come to pretty much singing the vowels, and then you got a hit song. This lady's singing, and she's going ooh 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 ee ah 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 ah, and she's singing the vowels to a song, and they're playing it on the radio, and it's a hit song probably. But it's it's kind of, the music industry has had a really has let down a lot of people, just simply because of the music that they're branding, and who's in control of that. So it's really let down a lot of people who are truly musicians, who truly have a love for the art of learning their instrument, and whether it's classical, or whether it's writing real songs other than about booty call and whatnot. So yeah, it's sad that our industry has fallen to that point of just throwing where it's a good engineer can actually make a great tune with just some beats and some rap music to it. But I'd really like to see, before the end of time, some really good, well written songs, some great musicians playing some great tunes and actually coming together as a band. It'd be nice to have bands again, to where you have a group of musicians who are excellent at their art, who come together and rehearse like back in the day, and actually write some beautiful stuff like the Beatles, or uh, just bands come to mind, and rather than just a bunch of dancing on stage. And that's kind of where it's came to, just a bunch of dancing on stage. So but regardless of all that, if you love music, if you love recording, and it's in your blood, it'll always stay in your blood, and it'll be something you'll never ever want to dismiss. And you'll always want to gather with friends who love the same compassion that you do, and want to just share your time and be in the same space with them, and in their presence, in the presence of a beautiful studio, because there's no better place to calm your heart and make you feel at home if you love music and you love recording. And I hope these things for all you guys. If you're recording music and you love music, stay with it. It'll never leave you. It'll never leave your soul, man. You'll always love it. And share your knowledge with others and stay with it, man. And that's the best encouragement I can give you guys tonight. So thank you so much for joining in, man. We got some great stuff. Remember, slam that subscribe button, okay? Slam it, and slam that bell as well, too. And that way you'll be notified as to when I'll be popping up. And I'm always talking about some really cool subjects, and I always throw in some cool little things about recording in there. So hopefully you can get something out of that as well. And I appreciate every one of you for joining in tonight, man. And we will see you again.